Hello, hello. Can you guys hear me? Hello, hello. Well, I really don't want to say. I don't know what to say, to be honest. This is my first time solo in the show. So, welcome to Breaking News Show. This is your host, Ahmed Baokba. I wanted to wait to have a guest or something like that, but my emotions are like running high at the moment. I didn't know what to do. I was like, you know what? I'm going to solo this one. So, here we are. Yeah, I think my camera is a little bit blurry. What's going on here? A second. Let me see. Yeah, that's too bright. Nope, too bright. Too bright. Here we go. So yeah, Lewis Hamilton finally wins a race since the 2021 Saudi Arabian Grand Prix. And I'll be honest with you, I thought I'll never see the day. I thought after watching him crossed the line in 2022 multiple times. There were times he was close, sometimes he were far. After Brazil specifically in 2022, I was like, it's over. We might not see it again. Mercedes never looked close, and then out of nowhere, Mr. James Allison shows up and said, "Let me cook. Let me bring you the upgrades that you need to see. Let me show you what I can do after visually and studying all other examples of designs and removing that stupid front wing they showed up with at the beginning of the season. The car just flipped. It's a whole different beast. Is this a win on merit? Yes. Nobody tells me a fluke. It's not like Austria. There was a definite gap we've seen. We've noticed how both McLaren and Red Bull with Max and Norris were far ahead of the Mercedes. And in Silverstone, I was not expecting a win. Not for Mercedes, not for George, not for Lewis. Even after the pole position, I was saying to myself, that McLaren car turns to a complete different beast halfway through the race when it's light on fuel. And we've seen that in the last 6, 7 races. When it's light on fuel, it's just like it's a whole different car. It goes from maybe third to second. Oh my god, my camera is so bad. What's going on here? You guys seen me from the underworld. Hold on. Should I just go back a little bit? I don't know. Maybe so. Yeah, just stay here. So yeah, walking into this British Grand Prix, I was like, you know what? The best maybe we could hope for is Lewis being the podium. I had a feeling Max or Norris again. It's another one of those traits. Qualifying, I was like, I'm not gonna have my hopium up. But seeing the first 10 laps of the race, it's just like the hopium level kept just climbing up, like you taking the stairs one step at a time. I'll be honest with you, I've never felt this much pain in my heart in those last 7, 8 laps. The last time I felt like that, it was in Abu Dhabi 21. The last time I felt that pain in my heart, hoping nothing bad happens in the last 7, 8 laps, it was Abu Dhabi. And watching the British Grand Prix and seeing Max on hards closing fast on both Lando and Lewis, it gave me again more pain because I didn't know what to think. Was Mercedes and McLaren the right strategy? Was Red Bull called the best? I just did not know what to think. But yeah, here we are celebrating a Lewis win. When I met Bono in March at the Saudi GP, and I told him, "Give me one more, get in there, Lewis." I have to go find the video. Uh, I thought maybe would be the last time I hear him say it. And if we look about at the trajectory at the time and now, Mercedes was nowhere. McLaren and Ferrari looked more closer teams to be catching up to Red Bull, and now it's quite the opposite. Now it looks like Ferrari has slowed down a little bit. McLaren, it's still fast car, can compete for wins. And I just don't know what happened to Red Bull today. If anything, today Red Bull was completely 100% carried by Max. Uh, there was a chance they shouldn't even be on the podium, let alone a P2. But I really don't care about none of that today. Like constructor fights or drivers fights, I think most of Team LH. And I know usually people like me to be more neutral on this, but no, today I'm going to speak just like a Lewis Hamilton fan. I know that a lot of Lewis Hamilton fans were just like mad, crying in agony, and seeing in multiple chances where Lewis could have had a good qualifying session that could help him compete for the race win, or something goes off or goes wrong in the race that does not help him be where he's supposed to be. Uh, I think that's mostly out of frustration watching Lewis where he was at the second half of the last season. And at the start of this season, we all thought like, me, I was thinking, so which one is it? Is it the car? Is it the strategy? Is it Lewis? You just did not know. It's just the moment he took the lead in this race after he took it from Lando coming out on softs. He was just locked in. You can just tell from Bono's voice, they knew that this is it. Lewis's voice tone was like, he knows this is it. Like, cut the radio off. I don't want to hear anything. Let me do what I need to do. He was locked in, consistent lap after lap after lap after lap after lap after lap. I don't want to sit here and be like, oh yeah, Lewis's experience prevailed and this. No, sometimes even experience will not help you if you have a little bit of a glimpse of lost touch. Because if we saw the first stint of Lewis and George when they were 1-2, George and Lewis, they were almost like 5,000ths of a tenth between each other in every sector. They were trading like many faster sectors between each other. And you're like, how is Lewis going to even overtake George? And then the moment Lewis took the lead at the last stint, it was just a whole different game. So, if anything, okay, I'm going to go with predictions. This is not a jinx, just a prediction. I don't think this is the last time we're going to see some of the drivers we saw win this season winning. I think we have more to come. This season is turning far better than we expected. Let's be real with each other here, Chet. We all expected this season to be one of those Red Bull dominance again. I didn't walk into this knowing Sainz would win Australia. Hell, I did not know Charles would win Monaco. Obviously, qualifying plays the bigger part, but winning, I did not know that. Lando winning at Miami. Oscar Piastri could have won in Austria, and he had the pace to do it, but he was stuck behind the Sainz. And out of nowhere, it's George Russell who wins. Max Verstappen, obviously, not to forget him. But this, I'll be honest with you, I was not expecting it. All these race winners we had this season, it was not on my bingo list. I swear to God, I thought we were in for another Red Bull dominance. But the one video, now we should go back to it. And I think most of you who follow me and know me, you've seen my old tweets and all that. The video where I was joking, using Fred Vester as the Liliati meme. I believed Adrian Newey and his comment when he said that they are about to hit the learning curve or the upgrade curves when it comes to the development of their car. They don't see this car developing any further, and others could catch up. I was like, Adrian Newey would not show up on TV. Sorry, guys, for the camera is just not working with me today. I should have just come closer. Yeah. When I saw that statement from Adrian, and I know a lot of people be like, I just media, clickbait, and all that. But I was like, Adrian would not come to the media and say something like that unless he knows it's serious. They don't see how they can improve this car any further. And now, I think as of now, he's officially off deck. He's not with them. And I know there are so many brilliant brains and minds in Red Bull department that they could work, and who knows, they could just switch up to Spa and become a whole different monster, back to dominance as we know it. but nowhere near how quickly they have fallen off. I don't know. You can say fallen off, or maybe you can just say, "Oh yeah, this is just a Mercedes one-off." But are we gonna keep saying that? Oh, so this race is a Mercedes one-off. Austria is a one-off. McLaren was fast. Same thing with Imola. Imola was all max, to be honest. Miami is another example. So every race where others look fast and could beat Red Bull, it's just a one-off. Then you should start asking questions. Am I complaining about it? Absolutely not. I'm so happy because I got a great season as a person who, I'm not saying it as out of hate, but like I'm not a fan of Red Bull. I don't support Red Bull, obviously. Uh, I'm just happy to see that there is a competition. We always were pooping on the cost cap era, and we said, "Oh yeah, this cost cap it did not work," and this and that. But now it proved that it's actually working because if without the cost cap, Red Bull would have blown a 60 or 80 or 70 million upgrade by now and just again kept that lead that they have and have that comfort margin of 3 tenths, 4 tenths, 5 tenths ahead of everyone. What we saw today, I think it was the most unexpected. I thought in my head that we're gonna see Lando win. The whole jinx tweet, honestly, I was like, you know what? I'm gonna just. I noticed that every time I sell, Lewis is gonna do good, stinker. This driver is gonna do good, stinker. I was like, you know what? Let me reverse it. I'm the people that I don't want them beating my driver. I'm gonna say they're gonna do good. And yeah, there it is. So hold that, Nico Rosberg. I don't think you have anything on me. Um, I just don't know what to expect in Hungary, and I think Hungary is one of the circuits that I don't know what's the next race even. To be honest, I don't care if it's Hungary. Please tell me yes. If it's not, then correct me. Uh, I think it's one of the circuits that does a little bit favor. Um, I don't say Mercedes. It does favor Mercedes a little bit in a way, and now that they have a car that they understand, oh, this season is gonna cook. And I know McLaren is not gonna slow down. Anyone who thinks this is the end of McLaren, they are trash, they're washed. Oh no, they have more coming. And I'm sure Red Bull has more coming as well. If anything, currently they're just carried by one driver. Sergio Perez, man, I think it's time to go, blood. It's time to go, bro. I don't think being lapped twice is a good image. And I know a lot of people will say, oh, yeah, he got lapped because they put him on inters and they put him as an indicator to see if the inters would work or not. They did the same thing to Charles Leclerc, as obviously. But you have no business to be that far behind. Ferrari car, we already can see it's not in a good form. Carlos did a great job. But you, Perez, have no business to be 2 laps down behind your teammate or 1.5 laps down. No business whatsoever. So I think it's GG's. And it's just funny to see at the moment. At the start of the season, when Lewis announced that he was going to Ferrari, and obviously I know a lot of people will be like, oh, do you think this is the right decision for Lewis to go to Ferrari? It's a personal decision at the end of the day. It has nothing to do with performance. Good or bad, it doesn't matter now. If you ask me at the start of the season, and you'll be like, okay, so Toto is screwed over here. He lost Lewis. The car is not good. And George did a couple of mistakes at the start of the season. And how is this guy even going to keep this team together? Right? And Ferrari, they were doing much better. They got a pole. They won with Sainz. They won with Leclerc. And Monaco, like their stocks are skyrocketing. Mercedes are in the trenches. Now, and you're like, who's even going to come and replace Lewis in that seat? They need the experience, blah, 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 blah. Now, when you look at it from another angle, you're like, well, Toto has some things lined up for him. He promised performance and he brought performance. And in Silverstone, and now his stocks are skyrocketing because it's not just a Mercedes win, it's a Lewis Hamilton record-breaking win. And you think about it, he always wanted Max Verstappen. The Mercedes CEOs from Stuttgart after the race of Austria, they said they want Max Verstappen. And you have Kimi Antonelli, who Toto also sees he has a good spot to take that seat. And you think about it, at the start of the season, Toto was in the mud. And you see it now. It's Christian Horner who's in the mud. You have a good driver, but the car currently is having W13 bipolar moments, like sometimes maybe good, sometimes maybe shit. And Sergio Perez is nowhere. And you don't know who you want to put in that seat. Do you want to put Daniel Ricciardo, since if it's just about a PR move? I'm not saying Daniel's going to do bad or great. We really can't tell because we are not seeing him, or we haven't seen him yet. Yuki Tsunoda deserve a chance to take on that seat. And Liam Lawson. So what do you do in this situation? Do you go with the secure driver that you know, like Carlos Sainz, for example, or do you go with one of the junior drivers you have? And on top of that, even Yuki, I'm sure he doesn't want him up there because, well, Helmut would love to, but he wouldn't. So it's just the compass has shifted 180 degrees from the start of the season from one side to another. And this is the beauty about F1. So you can never, we can speculate and talk about the moment and comment and criticize, but when you see the general picture, like after now, look what we had from the start of the season, from on track and off track. Lewis Hamilton leaving, Adrian Newey leaving, McLaren hiring so many engineers from Red Bull, and I think Mercedes as well. Ferrari hiring Mercedes and Red Bull engineers. You have, I think I didn't mention Lewis. You have Ocon, who is now basically literally a freelancer. You have Carlos Sainz, jobless. You have all these drivers who won a race in the season. Sometimes Red Bull's the fastest car, sometimes they're the second, sometimes they're the third. Same thing with Mercedes. Today they are the fastest car. Last race they were second, third fastest, and it's just everything keeps shifting. There's no clear indication of who is the fastest. McLaren currently in their last form of the last 8 races, they look the fastest. Today's race is Mercedes. You have all this, and I think anybody from the media should really take a good advantage of this because you have a lot of stories to write. But none of the nonsense I've seen at before the start of the British Grand Prix. Once again, discussing the incident between Lando and Max as if, yeah, this could again play in this race. Yeah, it's possible, but do we really need to talk about that? And bring it again, Lewis and Max in 2021, and bring them as a side comparison. Like, why? Why do you need that? You have a lot of stories to work on and talk about if you really want to create action and adrenaline. Forget all that bullshit. Like, you have things happening on track you could really look into and be like, yes, this will be good for a story. Not whatever they did before the race. I'll be honest with you, I just wanted to come up here like for I think 30 minutes or something, and I just didn't want to tweet. I didn't want to do a Twitter space or any of that. I just wanted to go like up live speak. I wish if I had a guest, a host. I am the host, a guest with me, so we could be speaking. But yeah, this is my mind. And as much as many of you know, I am usually not neutral. I am a biased Lewis Hamilton fan, but like my opinions, I sometimes try to be neutral about it in things that happen on track, off track. It's none of my goddamn business. I don't live with those people. They don't pay me or anything. So why should I be involved in any of that? Unless I'm a paid paparazzo, that's a whole different conversation. But it's just today, I think we should not celebrate the veteran Lewis Hamilton fans. And I know you're going to be like, oh, yeah, come on. What are you talking about? Let's talk about the new Lewis Hamilton fans who never watched Sir Lewis Hamilton win a race. I hope you're feeling well, and I hope you're celebrating this, and you deserve to watch Lewis Hamilton win. And I think you have seen the most emotional Lewis Hamilton winning a race since Turkey 2020. And I think even in Turkey 2020, Lewis Hamilton was not as emotional as today. You've got to see a side I've never thought I would see in Lewis, a side I never thought I would see in Bono, in that entire Mercedes garage. And a lot of people always said he doesn't have the passion. Oh, yeah, he cares about his outfits and stuff and blah, blah, blah. He doesn't care about racing anymore. A man like that, okay, you know what? Be my guest. Say he doesn't care about racing. Imagine if he cared about racing then. He's cooking the grid full of young, great talents when he doesn't even give a F about racing. If he cared, it's finished. If I go by your logic, but that man loves racing, and I'm happy for all the Lewis Hamilton new fans post 2021 who never got to see him. They saw him on the podium, they saw him get a pole position, but they never experienced a win with Lewis Hamilton. And I think they've seen the most dramatic, beautiful, cinematic race for him as a racing driver. And I think I've seen all Lewis Hamilton wins live. This one, it just was different. Like, it just, that feeling of it's been so long, like, it's that feeling that but like it's gone now. You love it again because you appreciate it. And I don't know if there's another win in the bag for him. I don't want to be jinxy and say he has, but hoping and praying that there's more. I hope you enjoy more, because some of you really deserve to watch this man winning. And I know you may have not experienced it. About Ferrari next season, let's not talk about that. Talk about the present. Him winning with Mercedes, the team that he built a legacy with, the team that built a legacy with him. And if it wasn't for him, this legacy would not be real. This is the best way for him to say thank you, Mercedes, and goodbye with a race win. I knew it would happen. I didn't know how. I thought it would be a fluke win, but it's a win. But on merit, I take that any day, any moment, and I'll always be there no matter what. I don't want to keep mumbling a lot. I have a lot of things in my mind, but I don't want to sit here keep analyzing other drivers, what they did. I just wanted to do this specifically just for Lewis and for what he has done. I know other drivers deserve praise. Lando could have done better. Great job from Max, who didn't have the car for him, and he worked those hard to wonders to get the P2 when he wasn't even in contention for a podium. So yeah, Lewis Hamilton is the GOAT and the greatest of all time. And this is coming from a person who supported Schumacher before supported Lewis Hamilton. Thank you very much, and take care.